What's going on? We're gonna start core burn in a minute or two. If you're watching this non-live, I'd recommend skipping about 2 minutes into the video and we'll start the class then. If you're just showing up right now, give me a wave, let me know who's here. Thank you for joining us. Hey Matt, what's poppin'? Hey Danny, hey Mike, hey Chris. Good to see you all. I'm gonna start our music up. Hi Mia. And then we're gonna go and get into core burn in about 1 minute here. Oh. So tell me how we're doing on volume. Can you hear both the song and can you hear me okay? If so, give me a little like on there. Great to see you, Jack. Thanks for coming. What's going on, Carmela? Voice and music both audible? Alright, got a couple. Sweet. So, core burn. Get yourself situated. You just need enough space basically to do like a plank and then to do like a full hollow body. So something like that kind of shape. If you've got that, then you're good, and that's a lot of what we're going to be doing today. Get your water bottle set. We're going to jump on in about 20 seconds here. Our workout we're going to be doing, we're going to start simple and still, and then we're going to build on it. So stability is going to move to slightly more dynamic movements and eventually challenging dynamic movements. Let's start with just a high plank down on whatever surface we're on. So set your hands up under your shoulders. Your toes up under your heels, your hips not up here, not sagging, but right there in the middle. Press a little more into your hands, so from this position, get the shoulder blades just a little higher. And then we are gonna hold this one for about, I'd say like 70, 90 seconds. We're gonna be here for a little bit. Turn the body on. So if you have any questions throughout class, let me know. If you're wondering anything about what it is we're doing, most of these starting exercises are high plank, our swimmers, our hollow body, these kinds of shapes you'll have held before. We're just looking to warm up and activate the body. Let's see if we can't get all the way to the end of the song and then like 20, 30 seconds past that. I don't think I'm going to be doing any official timer work today because I usually use my phone and my phone is all busy recording, so sometimes my seconds might be totally off. I like to count with the classic like 5, 4 kind of pacing. So let's get through 10 more of those seconds. Knees a little higher. 10. 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Find a seat. Nice job. Shake out the wrists, roll out the wrists, do a couple finger exercises like you're about to hop on a climbing wall. That built some heat real quick. Next on the list, a beach chair type of position or boat pose. So option 1, a little easier is arms into the legs or reaching back behind the legs like this. Option 2, a little harder, would be extending like this. You can be up more, or you can have the middle back on the ground but the shoulders lifted. They're both hard. We're gonna hold that, try and find yourself still. Let's go for 40, 50 seconds or so. Well, all right, here it is, so we gotta stay. Whew. Oh man, I already don't know about this. One thing I usually like about core burn is I sit and I give all the directions to everybody in the room, and I don't have to do the exercises. But this time I'm along for the ride, so let's see how far we can take it. Let's go for like 20 seconds. Already feel a lot of shakiness. It's gonna be a long 30 minutes. Here for 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Come on up to a plank tabletop. What's going on, Dan? Good to have you. And then bring yourself all the way down onto the mat. Now, unfortunately, I've always thought this is very rude of the universe, but laying down is not a core exercise in and of itself. So from our laying down position, we're gonna have to go ahead and lift up the thighs, lift up the shoulders, and see if you can get the lower abdomen as your focal point, your contact point with the ground. So a lot of times it's the hips here. If it's mostly your groin, your hips on the ground, lift the thighs higher and lean forwards more. If it's mostly your upper chest on the ground, lift the chest higher. Drive into the belly button. Let that be your center. Hands can rest anywhere. We'll be here for about 20 seconds. Here for 10, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice work. Press your way up. Come down onto the back on the mat. All right. So those are our 3 kind of foundational still holds. Our plank, our boat pose or beach chair, and our reverse hollow body. We'll start to add a little movement into those shapes and build on the shapes. Next up on our list is just hands to toes like a V-up. For this one, we're going to think full extension. And you can keep your shoulders on the ground. So again, easing in to what's harder. Keep your shoulders down, but try and keep your arms and your legs pretty straight and see if you can get all the way up to the toes. All right, about 60 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and go. If you can, hips on the ground and shoulders on the ground. It's going to be more work for the core. The more you roll your legs back like that, or the more you spring your shoulders up like that, legs back is easier and more flexibility. Lifting the shoulders is actually harder, so I'm okay with that. But for now, try and keep the hips on the ground. Straightening or bending the knees makes this gentler. Keep the straight legs if you can. 20 seconds. Here for 10. 8, 5, 3, 2, 1. Whew. All right. Next on the list, a little movement from high plank. What's going on, Q? Thanks for joining. What's up, Brendan? I'm excited, Brendan, to get to that personal training soon. Thank you for texting me about that. From your high plank, We're gonna be lifting one arm, lifting the other. Your choice with the toes back behind you. You could bring them together and roll all the way over into your side planks, or you could just stay on your tiptoes and go side to side. So whichever of those feels better for you, that's what we'll do. 40, 50 seconds. Whew. 3, 2, 1, go. If you do roll over onto your toes, keep your hips really lifted the whole time. Try and keep your hands under your shoulders. A lot of times they go way out like this, and instead we're looking for hands directly under the shoulder blade like that to get taller. This is another one that's kind of a foundational movement that we're going to be building on in a later round. So warming it up and smoothing it out. If you're on a hardwood floor surface like me, this might be a lot rolling over the toes. And I'm not exactly looking to train like pinky toe mobility as my #1 thing right now. So you could step between the sides like this. Or you could just keep the toes on the ground the whole time like that. Let's think about 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, high five. Good work. All right, we're gonna take our lying down movement and add swimming into it. So I don't really know how to swim. I'm not that great at it, so I'm just gonna do the classic breaststroke. If you know your butterflies or anything else that keeps you from drowning, then do that with the arms and the legs. What's going on, Paul? Ready to work after a long day climbing? Better hop in. All right, so down on the abdomen. Belly button as the center point of contact with the ground, not the hips, not the groin. Lifting everything up, and then finding a little movement. I like to keep looking down at the mat, because if I look up a lot, my neck starts to hurt over time. So trying to protect the cervical spine, just taking it out entirely by looking down. If you can, thighs off the mat. If you can keep your toes back behind you if you're doing flutter kicks, then one fun fact about swimming is it's really great for getting more range of motion and mobility in the ankle. Because you're trying to make your foot less like a right angle with the more leg and more like a flipper. So having the toes straight back kind of mimics how it would be in the water. Be here for 10, 15 seconds. 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. So we're gonna come from a seated position and do a variation on the boat pose. You're gonna have, with your legs out in front of you, your hands back behind you, you'll lift the legs. Here's option 1. Here's option 2 with the hands lifted. On this one, you'll be leaning back a little more than you were previously. And instead of holding this still, I'd like you to lift and then lower the legs. So you can do it with straight legs or with bent legs. We'll set that up and we'll get going. 5, 4, 3, 2, and start. The closer you can bring your abdomen to your thighs, the more challenging the movement. I'm looking for an explosive lift up and a controlled, slow lower down. Shoulder blades never touch the ground here. "20 seconds. 10, 7, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Legs are coming out in front of us again. This time, instead of hands back behind you, hands forwards. Active fingertips, so just the tips of the fingers on the ground, not the palms. Put the hands right next to the knees. See if you can lift the heels up. If the heels go up, reach your hands a little farther. See if you can lift the heels up. Whew. That movement, even if it's just an inch, is harder. Actually, the less range of motion, the harder it is. So reaching really far forwards and getting a centimeter off the ground with your heels is harder than being back here. It's called an L-sit compression. We're going to do about 40 seconds of them. If you're really good, keep your heels off the ground the whole time. I don't think I've got it, but we'll see how it pans out. All right, 3, 2, 1. L-sit compressions. The compression comes from, instead of being back here, being up and forward with the abdomen. Keep going if you can. Here for 15. 10, 9. And finished. Oh my gosh. That's you're gonna feel in the quads on top of the thighs. Very challenging. Next up on our list is gonna be a dynamic thread the needle from high plank. So we'll be back in this high plank position. You're gonna lift up, keep both your toes centered, get all the way up towards the ceiling, and then you're gonna thread down and through. Then you'll go back up, and then you'll switch sides. So up, thread, up, switch. All right, let's get started with about a minute of those. We'll get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, and go. Up, thread, up, switch. Sometimes people open way too far up. They'll go like this. Just reach straight up to the ceiling. Don't reach back behind you on this one. Another easy thing to look out for is placing your hands way in front of the shoulder, like my hand right now on the ground. So if you do that, take your grounded hand, scoot your back. Good. Up, thread, and switch. The more you can lift the shoulder, the more you're practicing the movement of broadening the chest, which is great for core and also just kind of great for life. Helps you release stress in the shoulders, carry yourself with a healthier posture. I tried to learn all the words of this song, but turns out I can't speak Spanish, so it was very challenging, and I did not do it. 10 seconds. Here for 5, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. All right. We'll keep getting into stuff that's more dynamic here. Next on our list is going to be forearm plank, knee to shoulder. So for this one, you're in your forearm plank, and then you're going to shift the body weight back and forwards in order to get your knee farther forward. So if I'm static with my body, if I don't move, my knee doesn't get to my shoulder. But if I shift my body weight forwards, my knee touches the upper arm. It takes a good bit of flexibility and upper body strength to get the knee all the way to the shoulder, but it's a good goal to shoot for. If you can, pause the knee onto the upper arm once you're there and hold for a second. We'll get about 45, 50 seconds of those going on. Thanks for the love. All right, 3, 2, 1. Knee to shoulder from forearm plank. Try and keep the hips low, so step back long every time you step back to keep it a plank and not a down dog. Hips are going to need to be lower than you think is what I'm learning. Looking at the darn video screen, holding me accountable. Whew. Just think about 25 seconds. 15. 9, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Oh my goodness. Alright. So we're starting to get into movements that are a lot harder and a lot more concentrated. Before we fully commit to that kind of movement, I'd like to do just a little bit of endurance work to balance out the workout and to make sure that our heart rate is good enough. I also like talking in between these sets because I'm tired. It helps me get the breath back. Alright, so endurance work for us is going to be coming back on the back. We're going to do a bunch of different directional points with the leg. Your arms will be out at the sides. Option 1, everything with knees bent. To the right, to the left, and then straight up lifting the hips. Option 2, those same things with the legs straighter. To the right, to the left, and then a lift of the hips. That's pretty hard to get the hips up off the ground with the hands out at the sides. So what I'd recommend is bringing the hands into the body for the hip lift and lower, and then out to the sides, which helps with the windshield wipers. So windshield wiper to each side and then a hip lift in the middle. About a minute of them. 3, 2, 1, go. Try with the hip lift to have the feet and the legs fully controlled by the time you're back down in your neutral position. So lower slow with control. Going out to the sides, try and have your fingertips staying on the ground. Like you're gripping onto a sloper, looking for tension between the tips of your fingers and the ground. Whew. About 20 seconds. Three, two, one. Awesome. How we doing, everybody? Yeah, Chris, you gotta come in person. It's tough. Mike, I'm glad you're feeling the burn. This is not an easy one. Way to be going after it. Cheers. All right, so let's get into some of these really challenging ones with the time we got left here. What's our timeline looking like? 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, that's nothing. Okay, we'll try and get one last 3-minute push. So I'm gonna introduce one more exercise, and then how we're gonna end class is you can pick from any of the exercises we've done, go for them for 3 minutes straight, but try not to stop at all in the midst of that. So the last exercise, which is a possibility, is a hollow body rock. From a hollow body shape, like this, you could try lifting arms and legs simultaneously, which we did earlier, or a little more challenging, a little more hand-eye coordination too, is going to be lifting legs and then lifting arms. Uh-oh. So going back and forth between the two. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. So that's the hollow body rock option on the back. Looking like this. Legs and then arms. They're both really hard. 30 seconds of that, a tiny rest, and then our last 3-minute push, and you have made it. All right, 30 seconds hollow body rocking on the back or the abdomen. 3, 2, 1, and going. Is the video going? I'm sorry about that pause broadcast, y'all. Wireless connection's it's under a lot of stress, I think, with everybody online right now. Alright, I hope those hollow body rocks went well. We're gonna close it out with our last 3-minute push. That's 3 right there. Okay, so I hope the video quality is back. Again, any of the exercises we've done, go for it. On your own, at your own pace, but see what you can do without stopping. I'd say maybe look to the windshield wipers or just holding a plank if it gets really bad, because those are not as challenging as some of what we've been up to. We'll get going here in about 5 seconds, and we're going to keep going for a good while. 3 minutes, and whatever that number is in my mind. 3, 2, 1, go. I know some of you remember this from Core Burn over the last 6 months. One of my favorite workout songs. We're going to say about a little less than 2 minutes left. Keep rotating between the movements to help yourself keep going. Doing good, you all. About 1 minute and 15. Turning up the volume. Close strong here. About 40 seconds or so. If you'd like to join me for something really hard to close it out, we can hit our V-up pulses together. For that, your legs are up, your middle back is on the ground, you reach up, this is starting position, and then you pulse. 30 seconds. Exhale with each lift. Straight legs, reach farther forward. 10. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. God, nice work, you all. All right, we made it through a video interruption. We made it through a lot of challenging core movements. I'm glad we're not sharing a room because, you know, the underarm area, the armpit area is probably not smelling so good right now. But that's all right. Thank you for joining me. We are gonna have so many of these great workouts with EarthTrex over the next month or so. Specifically, not only all the East Coast EarthTrex pages are gonna be live streaming, at least one workout a day, posted on Facebook Live on either EarthTrex Columbia, Crystal City, Hamden, Timonium, or whatever the fifth one is. Hamden, Timonium, Columbia, Crystal City, Rockville. We'll also be streaming from Movement in Colorado, from Planet Granite on the West Coast, from EarthTrex in Colorado. And you can tune into all those for free. So, love hearing everybody say an awesome class. Jocelyn, Rafi, thanks for joining us. You missed the core workout. Classic Rafi, that's all right, we'll get you next time. Heather, Sarah, I saw a bunch of you all here. Danny, really appreciate it. Follow me on Facebook. Nice work to be here, Helen. And take care of yourself. Peace.